On December 16th, 2025, Elon Musk's net worth surged past $638 billion. In a single day, $167 billion added to his fortune in 24 hours. That's more than the entire annual economic output of Hungary, more than New Zealand's GDP, more than Vietnam's, gone, transferred, into the hands of one 54-year-old man who just redefined what wealth means in the 21st century. Today, silver is trading around $64 per ounce, up approximately 115% year to date. And what I'm about to tell you will make you understand why Musk's wealth explosion isn't just about stocks and valuations. It's about the complete restructuring of global economic power, why traditional billionaire rankings are obsolete, why the gap between Musk and everyone else just became insurmountable, and why the first trillionaire isn't coming. He's already here. This is the story of how one man became richer than entire nations. And it happened while you were sleeping. The SpaceX valuation, nobody saw coming. Let's be very clear about what happened. This wasn't Tesla. This wasn't another electric vehicle rally. This wasn't even about X or his artificial intelligence ventures. What happened was far more profound, far more devastating to traditional wealth hierarchies. SpaceX just underwent a private insider share sale that valued the company at $800 billion. $800 billion for a private company, the most valuable private startup in human history. And Elon Musk owns 42% of it. Here's what it means in practice. Musk's stake in SpaceX alone is now worth $336 billion. $336 billion from one company. One private aerospace manufacturer that didn't even exist 23 years ago. A company that was literally days away from bankruptcy in 2008. A company that Musk saved by pouring his last dollars into a fourth Falcon 1 launch attempt after 3 catastrophic failures. That company is now worth more than the entire GDP of Israel, more than Ireland, more than Singapore, and Musk controls nearly half of it. On December 16, 2025, Bloomberg's Billionaires Index recorded something unprecedented. Musk's net worth jumped from $470 billion to $638 billion, $167 billion in one trading session. The catalyst? SpaceX's valuation doubled from its previous $400 billion mark in August. The company and its investors agreed to purchase $1.25 billion worth of shares from employees and company insiders. Standard tender offer. Except the valuation wasn't standard. It was revolutionary. Why does this matter? Because SpaceX isn't just launching rockets anymore. Starlink, the satellite internet subsidiary, is generating massive recurring revenue. NASA contracts worth over $20 billion are locked in. The Starship program is preparing for Mars missions. And here's the critical part that everyone misses. SpaceX is planning an initial public offering in 2026. When that happens, private market valuations could look conservative. Some analysts are projecting IPO valuations approaching $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion. If that materializes, Musk's stake alone could be worth $630 billion. Just from SpaceX, before Tesla, before XAI, before anything else. The Tesla reality nobody discusses. While SpaceX dominated headlines, Tesla remained the foundation, the bedrock, the original wealth generator that transformed Musk from millionaire to the richest human alive. As of December 16th, 2025, Musk owns approximately 13% of Tesla. The company's market capitalization hovers around $1.53 trillion. $1.53 trillion. That means Musk's Tesla stake is worth roughly $199 billion before options, before the compensation package that just changed everything. In November 2025, Tesla shareholders approved something extraordinary, a new compensation package, not the $55 billion deal that Delaware courts struck down twice. Something bigger, something more audacious, a $1 trillion performance-based award structure. $1 trillion, contingent on 12 milestone achievements over 10 years. Milestones like expanding Tesla's market cap to $8.5 trillion, delivering 12 million vehicles annually, deploying 1 million robo-taxis, creating succession plans. Meeting each target unlocks massive stock option awards, 423.7 million shares of restricted common stock. If Musk hits every milestone, if Tesla executes flawlessly, that package alone could be worth $1 trillion. On December 15th, 2025, Tesla stock surged. Musk announced the company was testing robo-taxis without safety monitors in passenger seats. Autonomy milestone. The market responded. Shares jumped 4.9% to $481.37. Investors betting on the robo-taxi future, the artificial intelligence pivot, the transformation from car manufacturer to robotics and AI juggernaut. Tesla's entire valuation narrative now hinges on autonomy, on self-driving technology, on regulatory approval, on execution. And the market is pricing in success, massive success. But here's what nobody's saying publicly. Tesla stock is volatile, extraordinarily volatile. Between December 2024 and April 2025, Tesla shares dropped over 50%, 50%. Musk lost nearly $90 billion in 2 months. Consumer boycotts, political controversies, concerns about his attention being divided between multiple companies and government roles. The stock recovered. It always recovers. But the swings are terrifying. 30% moves in weeks, billions vanishing and reappearing based on tweets, product announcements, regulatory decisions. Total Musk wealth composition today looks like this. Approximately $336 billion from SpaceX, $199 billion from Tesla shareholdings, $60 billion from XAI Holdings, where he controls 53%. Unknown billions from X, formerly Twitter. Stakes in Neuralink, The Boring Company, other ventures. Added up and you get $638 billion according to Bloomberg. $677 billion according to Forbes. The exact number shifts by tens of billions daily depending on market movements and valuation methodologies. But the scale is undeniable, unprecedented, incomprehensible. The wealth gap that cannot be closed. Now let's zoom out. Let's see how Musk compares to everyone else. Because the gap isn't just large, it's civilizational. Larry Page, Google co-founder, is the second richest person alive. His net worth? $265 billion. Musk has more than twice Page's entire fortune, more than double. The gap between first and second place is larger than the net worth of 99% of billionaires on Earth. Jeff Bezos, who dominated wealth rankings for years, sits at approximately $200 billion. Musk is $438 billion ahead of him. $438 billion. That gap alone is larger than the GDP of Thailand, larger than Poland, larger than Belgium. In 2024, Musk added $213 billion to his net worth. $213 billion in 12 months. That's more wealth creation than most countries generate in economic output annually. To put this in perspective, Portugal's entire GDP is approximately $280 billion. Musk gained almost as much wealth in 1 year as Portugal produces in goods and services. New Zealand's GDP, approximately $250 billion. Hungary, $190 billion. Musk's year-over-year wealth increase exceeded Hungary's total economic output. Let's talk about countries, because at $638 billion, Musk personally is wealthier than the annual GDP of Poland, which sits around $679 billion. He's approaching parity with Thailand at $512 billion. He's already surpassed Belgium at $619 billion, Sweden at $593 billion, Israel at $530 billion, Singapore at $525 billion. These are developed nations, modern economies, millions of people, decades of infrastructure, generations of accumulated wealth, and one man is worth more than their entire yearly economic output. When Musk first appeared on Bloomberg's Wealth Index in 2013, his net worth was $4.8 billion. $4.8 billion. In 12 years, he multiplied his wealth 133 times. 133 times. He's been adding approximately $100 billion per year for 5 consecutive years. In 2020, his net worth was $27 billion. By December 2020, $170 billion. November 2021, $340 billion. December 2024, $486 billion. Now, $638 billion. The trajectory is exponential, accelerating, uncontrollable. The Tesla pay package that broke reality. The compensation saga deserves special attention because it reveals something profound about corporate governance, shareholder power, and wealth concentration in modern capitalism. In 2018, Tesla's board approved a pay package for Musk. No salary, no guaranteed compensation. Pure performance incentives tied to market cap milestones and operational targets. If Tesla hit specific valuations and revenue goals, Musk would receive stock options. Massive stock options. The deal was structured around 12 tranches, each tranche unlocked when Tesla achieved increasingly aggressive targets. The package worked. Tesla's valuation exploded from $50 billion to over $1 trillion. Musk unlocked tranche after tranche. By 2022, the total value of the package reached $55 billion. $55 billion. The largest CEO compensation in history. Then Delaware Chancery Court Judge Kathleen McCormick stepped in. In January 2024, she ruled the package invalid. Her reasoning? Musk had undue influence over Tesla's board. The approval process was flawed. Directors with close ties to Musk couldn't provide independent oversight. The compensation was excessive, unconscionable. The ruling voided $55 billion in compensation. Tesla appealed. Shareholders voted again. In November 2025, they approved the package a second time. overwhelming support. McCormick struck it down again in December 2025. Same reasoning, same concerns. $55 billion in compensation rescinded twice by the same judge. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of fighting endlessly, Tesla proposed something different. A new compensation structure. Not $55 billion. $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Over 10 years. Contingent on absurd milestones that most analysts consider impossible. Market cap to $8.5 trillion. 12 million annual vehicle sales. 1 million robotaxis operational. Why would shareholders approve this? Because they believe in the vision, the autonomy revolution, the robotaxi future, the AI transformation. They believe Musk is the only person who can execute. That without him, Tesla becomes just another car company. With him, it becomes the most valuable company in human history. And if he hits those targets, if he delivers on those promises, then $1 trillion might actually be cheap. A bargain. Because a Tesla worth $8.5 trillion creates $4 trillion in shareholder value beyond where it sits today. Paying Musk $1 trillion to unlock $4 trillion is rational, cold, mathematical. The hidden risk. Nobody mentions. But there's something lurking beneath the surface, something dangerous, something that could unravel everything overnight. Debt, personal loans, pledged shares. Musk has borrowed billions against his Tesla and SpaceX stakes. Billions. Exact figures aren't public, but Bloomberg estimates are substantial. When you pledge shares as collateral, you create leverage. And leverage cuts both ways. In rising markets, it amplifies gains. In falling markets, it triggers margin calls, forced liquidations, catastrophic deleveraging spirals. Lenders typically allow borrowing up to 25% of pledged share value. If stock prices fall significantly, collateral value declines. Banks issue margin calls, borrow more, or sell shares. If Musk can't meet margin requirements, forced sales begin. Those sales pressure stock prices lower, which triggers more margin calls. More forced sales, the spiral accelerates. This is how fortunes evaporate, how billionaires lose everything. In March 2025, Tesla stock plummeted 45% from its December 2024 high. 45%. Musk's net worth dropped $126 billion. $126 billion. In 3 months, margin pressure intensified. The situation stabilized. Stock recovered. Crisis averted. But the risk remains. Always. Musk often describes himself as cash poor. He owns billions in equity but limited liquid assets. He can't easily access cash without selling shares. And selling shares creates tax obligations, market pressure, signal concerns. So he borrows. Mortgages the future to fund the present. It's a high-wire act. Spectacular when it works. Catastrophic when it doesn't. And at $638 billion in net worth, the stakes have never been higher. The trillion-dollar question. So where does this go? What happens next? Is Musk actually going to become the world's first trillionaire? The math suggests yes, almost certainly yes. SpaceX IPO in 2026 at projected valuations puts his stake around $600 billion from that company alone. Tesla compensation package over 10 years could add another trillion if milestones are hit. XAI raising fresh capital at $230 billion valuation increases that stake's value. Even if half the optimistic projections materialize, even if Tesla stalls at current levels, even if SpaceX IPO disappoints, Musk likely crosses $1 trillion within 5 years. Probably sooner. But let's consider what that means. $1 trillion, 1,000 billion, 1 million million. It's an abstraction. Incomprehensible. To put it in context, if you earned $1 million per year and never spent a penny, it would take you 1 million years to accumulate $1 trillion. 1 million years. Longer than modern humans have existed. If you stacked 1 trillion $1 bills, the stack would reach 67,866 miles high. 1/4 of the distance to the moon. If you spent $1 million per day, it would take 2,739 years to spend 1 trillion. That's longer than recorded human history, and Musk could have that wealth in 5 years, maybe 3, possibly 2. The wealth concentration is staggering, unprecedented. Some argue it's grotesque, immoral, that no individual should control that much capital while billions live in poverty. Others argue it's earned, market-driven, that Musk created value, took risks, built revolutionary companies, that shareholders voluntarily gave him equity, that his wealth is paper, not liquid, that he can't actually access most of it. Both arguments have merit. Both miss the point. The perfect storm that builds empires. The real story isn't about one man. It's about convergence, about how multiple technological revolutions intersected at precisely the right moment with precisely the right entrepreneur. Consider the timing. Musk bet on electric vehicles when everyone said they were impossible. He bet on reusable rockets when NASA said they couldn't work. He bet on satellite internet when telecom giants dismissed it. He bet on artificial intelligence when the field was nascent, and every single bet paid off, spectacularly. The 2020s are the decade when these technologies go mainstream. Electric vehicles approaching, cost parity with combustion engines, SpaceX dominating commercial space launch, Starlink covering the globe, artificial intelligence transforming every industry, Tesla robotaxis potentially launching at scale. Each trend would be significant individually. Together, they create exponential wealth, and Musk positioned himself at the center of all of them, not through luck, through vision, through execution, through relentless, obsessive focus on technologies he believed would define the future. The political dimension matters too. Musk's relationship with the Trump administration, his brief advisory role in the Department of Government Efficiency, his massive financial support for Trump's campaign. These connections created opportunities, regulatory favorable treatment, government contracts, political protection, but they also created risks, consumer boycotts, international criticism, concerns about conflicts of interest, the Tesla takedown movement where customers refused to buy vehicles, stock pressure, reputation damage, political entanglements cut both ways. They accelerate success and amplify failure. Why this moment changes everything. On December 16th, 2025, at $64 per ounce, silver continues its historic rally. Industrial demand from solar panels, electric vehicles, data centers drives structural deficits. Physical markets tighten, paper markets strain, comics inventories collapse. China restricts exports. The silver story and the Musk story are connected. Both reflect the same underlying forces. The energy transition, the technological revolution, the infrastructure transformation, the reshaping of global supply chains and power structures. The final calculation. So let's do the math. $638 billion today. SpaceX IPO adds $200 billion conservatively. Tesla compensation package over 10 years adds potentially another $500 billion if half the milestones are hit. XAI at $230 billion valuation increases his stake by $30 billion. Other ventures contribute $50 billion. Total? $1,418 billion. $1.4 trillion by 2030. Maybe sooner. But here's what makes it terrifying or inspiring. Depending on your perspective, the numbers don't matter anymore. Whether Musk is worth $600 billion or $1 trillion or $2 trillion is irrelevant. He's entered a realm where wealth becomes abstraction, where net worth is just a scoreboard, where the real assets are technological platforms, political influence, cultural power, the ability to shape civilization's trajectory. He controls the rockets that could take humanity to Mars, the satellites that provide internet to remote regions, the vehicles that could eliminate driving deaths, the AI that could transform industries, the neural implants that could cure paralysis. You can hate him. Many do. You can worship him. Many do. You can think he's humanity's savior or its greatest threat, but you cannot ignore him. Because on December 16th, 2025, Elon Musk didn't just become richer than whole countries. He became proof that individual wealth accumulation has no ceiling, that the barriers we thought existed were imaginary, that one person with the right combination of vision, timing, execution, and leverage can accumulate more capital than nations, more influence than governments, more power than we ever thought possible. And he's not slowing down. The $1 trillion man isn't coming. He's already here, and he's just getting started.